And just now G02 move clockwise, G02 move counterclockwise. So if we are at the same position here, it will move counterclockwise, reverse from the clockwise direction, and you need to give the X, Y and the feed rate, it will move to that point. Alright, next slide. G20. So G20 is inferior unit, meaning if you give a G20, all the X, Y, Z value will be in inch, inferior value, meaning is in inch. And in Malaysia, in Asia, we hardly use G20 because we are using international standard. So we are using G21, which is metric. So we go to the next slide. So if you specify in your program G21, meaning all the X, Y, Z value will be taken as metric. So the X coordinate, Y coordinate, Z coordinate are all in mm. Okay. Alright, next. G28 automatic zero return will send the spindle to home position. Okay, this is usually for tool change or setting up of a new program. So bear in mind, all computerized machine like CNC milling, CNC lathe, CNC wire cut, CNC EDM, or even robot, when you switch it off, the robot does not know where its current location is. So when you switch it on, it's good practice for you to make sure the robot go back to the home position. So all machines have their own home position. So it will return from wherever you stop the machine, it will return in Z, X and Y to the home position. Same like a robotic arm, it will return to a very safe home position. So it's good practice to use G28 to ensure the machine return to automatic zero return point. Okay, next slide. And G40 is very interesting. G40, cancel cutter compensation. Alright, so when you give a drawing of a rectangle and you give the coordinate, the tool will move from point 1 to point 2, point 3, point 4 and back. Yeah, but the important thing is that if there's a line, does the tool move on the line or outside the line to the top, or outside the line to the bottom? So if you cancel, meaning the center of the tool will follow the center of the line. If you use G41, the tool will offset to the top. If a G42, it will offset to the bottom. So it's just like when you are driving a car. If you are driving a car on the road, we have to stay on the left of the line, so it will be G41. But if you go to Western country, if you are driving, you need to be on the right hand side, so you will use a G42. So the same similar concept, G41, G42, if you have a line, do you move on the line or to the left of the line or to the right of the line? So in our country we use G41, but in engineering you can choose both. If you are making a rectangular island, then you want to be outside cutting so that you get the island. If you want a hole, then you want to be inside so that you cut the hole. We will do a work example so that you are clear about this. Alright, next slide. G90 is an absolute movement. So G90 is same like in AutoCAD, where you use the absolute coordinate system. I'm sure you remember in AutoCAD you learned there's absolute coordinate system and there's the incremental coordinate system. The incremental, you give the symbol alias at the front and the X and the Y coordinate. So if you are giving G90 in your program, meaning every of your coordinate is referring to the absolute point. Okay, for example, if this is the graph paper, this is the X-axis, this is the Y-axis, so this is X positive, this is Y positive, so the absolute movement is always referring to X0, Y0. Okay, so all these coordinate G01, X30, Y0, meaning we are moving from 0 in X to 30 in X, for example, and there's no movement in Y. Okay, next. Whereby G91 is opposite than G90, when G90 is always referring to the X0, Y0 point, G91 is always referring to the last point. So same like what you learned in AutoCAD. If you draw from one point to another point, now this point become your datum point. So the next point will refer to here. And if now you're at this point, the coordinate of the next point will refer to here. So exactly like your AutoCAD. Okay, next. G92 define the programming of the coordinate system. This is best for me to share with you in the lecture how we define the G92. So we will skip this slide. We go to the next slide, which is on the M code. So you have some idea now about G code, which are preparatory code, which move the tool from one point to another, and how the tool move, whether move in a very fast, rapid, or move in interpolation while cutting, move circular, counter circular. And now we go to the M. M stand for miscellaneous, meaning other than moving the tool is M, miscellaneous. For example, you want to on the coolant, off the coolant, you want to change the tool, you want to start the spindle, or you want to stop the spindle. These are all miscellaneous. Other than moving the machine, you use the M code. There are 99 M codes from M00 until M99. You only need to know a few that is relevant to you for this course. Unless you are working in the manufacturing sector to be a programmer, then you need to know all. But sufficient for this course for you to know some of the M code. So among the important M codes here is M03, M05, M06. Yeah. So M03, if we look on the next slide. So M03 is to start the spindle. So initially in the program, the tool is static, not moving, not rotating. But the moment you give M03 followed by the S, a certain value, S is for the spindle speed, with a certain value, then it will automatically spin the spindle at what speed you specify. So here, from static, the spindle will move at 2200 RPM per minute. Okay, next. So if you want the spindle to stop, for example, you have done the cutting, you have returned the tool, you want it to stop. So you give a M05 and the spindle will stop. Okay, next. And if you want to change the tool, you use the M06. So previously on manual machine, the operator have to unlock and take out the tool and change it with another tool and lock. But with CNC, this allow automatic tool changing, because there's an automatic tool changer carrying certain number of tools. The moment you specify the M06 followed by the tool number, the spindle will return and will release the tool, and this will rotate and take another tool and take the tool that you specify. So here you will say change the tool and take tool number 1. So if you want tool number 2, you say M06 T02 and so on. Okay, thank. And if you have a long program, at the end of the program you want to stop and rewind the program back to the start, so you give an M30. So this will tell the machine it's the end of the program, and it will rewind from the last line, maybe line number 1000, it will rewind back to line number 1, and if you want, it will start. Yeah, it will start again for the next process. So in CNC is used for producing or machining hundreds of parts, and normally after one part you want to continue machining the same part again and again. So that's why you rewind and can start again on a new workpiece. Okay, next. So the feed and speed, the feed is given by the F code. For example, if you give F50, and it will be 50 mm per minute. Yeah, 50 mm per minute. If the previous code is G20, then 50 will be inch per minute. So yours will be mm per minute because you specify G21 earlier in your program. And the speed code is given by the S. Example is S1200, meaning the spindle will spin at 1200 RPM. Okay, next. And tool, to define which tool you want in the turret to change. So So if you say M061, meaning it will turn and change this tool and take tool number 1 into the turret. Okay, next. So the lesson outcome, by the end of this lesson, we want you to be able to understand the concept of computer numerical control system. So we have done this and its application in the first lecture. Understand the fundamental component of CNC system. We have done that also in the first lecture. Understand the aspect of CNC motion control using the G code that we showed with you, and understand the various aspects of CNC code. Example, the M code, the feed rate F, the S for spindle speed, and also previous lecture you are able to understand the various advantages and disadvantages of CNC control system. So with that, I end the lecture and look forward to see you in the next lecture, where we will give you an assignment. We will do it together to write a program from scratch, from zero until we finish a simple part. Yeah, so you'll be able to actually, we will ensure that you'll be able to write your own program. You know where to put the G code, the M code, assemble the program. And with the lab in CNC manufacturing lab, you'll be able to learn both the theory and the practical, which will ensure that you achieve the targeted lesson outcome. So with that, I would like to say thank you and see you in the next lecture. Thank you.